All right, Cherokee fans and surrounding areas. Here we are. It's Wednesday. It's Podcast Wednesday. So I do a lot of podcasts, and I'm really happy to announce that on this podcast, for the first time and moving forward throughout the volleyball season, we are going to be talking Cherokee, TM Cherokee volleyball. And on the screen, I have the head coach for that volleyball program, Shelby Chapa. Coach, how you doing this evening?
We're doing great. We're on intercession right now, so we're just enjoying being off and the kiddos running around crazy. And so it's nice to obviously be on that year-round schedule, have that break, recoup, and just get to focus on volleyball during this week.
Yeah, I didn't know when I talked to Coach very early because we did a football podcast with him. I said, Coach, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I forgot you guys go all year round. He said, No, 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 it's good. That's good. I mean, we still have to go to. I have to go to work. I mean, kids get off, but
Yeah.
it's good that they do get. I think they go 6 weeks and then a week off. I think is what I was told. Tuloso Midway does it a little
hmm
different, but definitely going to be talking TN Cherokee volleyball here. And as I said, Coach has committed to coming on every Wednesday. It'll be pre-recorded. She comes on about 4 to 4:30 and then it'll be uploaded later on that night or the next morning. You can catch right now that podcast on our GT Sports Network. That is all our social media platforms, YouTube channel. You can catch it also on Facebook and Twitter. That's GT Sports. And you can also catch it on Spotify. Just search Premier Sports Talk on Spotify. Look for the GT Sports logo, and you can catch Coach Chapa's podcast. So, Coach, if you're ready, I sent you some questions. Just want to kind of get things rolling here a little bit. I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the TM community and surrounding areas. Kind of talk a little bit. How long have you coached? How long have you been coaching there at Tuloso Midway? And anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Coach Shelby Chapa. I actually graduated from Tolosa Midway back in 2011. So it's cool to be kind of full circle, working my way back. I've been coaching volleyball since I graduated high school. So fresh out of high school, my parents and us, we started a club volleyball organization. So my entire time during college, I, invested into coaching and really learning the game at the coaching level. I grew up playing volleyball from the time my mom was actually a volleyball coach. So lived, eat, sleep, breathe volleyball, grew up in the gym, just like my two daughters. So it's kind of fun to be back full circle and get to experience it, at that level. I actually, right out of college, I did my student teaching at Tulosa Midway, and then I got a job at TM, and I was the assistant coach for 4 years under Jamie Gill. So my first 4 years were incredible. Our first 2 years in 2016 and 2017, we went back to back at the state tournament. So we were state semifinalists. So that was just an experience in itself. Getting to it doesn't happen very often, and to get to do it back to back was just a really neat to be a part of, and to spend my first 4 years as a varsity assistant and getting to learn the game and experience it from a coach at Coach Gill's level. So come 2020, I was kind of ready to just branch out on my own. I got that experience, 4 years of experience at the high school level as an assistant, and really felt like it was my time to lead my own program. So at that time, Veterans Memorial in Corpus Christi, they had a head coach position open. So I went and did 2 years there and had a really successful team. We went 2 rounds deep in the playoffs each year. But then, that I had a baby in 2021, and really wanted to be back in the community where I've grown up in, we still lived in, my husband and I. Um, really wanted to be closer to home, and the job came open, the head coaching job came open here at TM. So I just felt like it was my time to come back and really invest into the community again that, I'm a part of. I live here in this area. My husband graduated from Tulosa Midway too. Um, so to get to come back and be a part of it and lead it at the head coaching level, I knew it was just something that I wanted to do. So now I'm back. I've been back since 2022 was my first season, so I'm in my third year back as the head coach and leading that program, and really getting to kind of feel like, it's my program, and getting to, have a deep root in the players and their development, and those coming up from the middle school, and really getting into pour into their lives on the head coaching level. So it's been really fun to be back, and my two daughters get to grow up being in the gym, and my girls get to see them, and it is just fun to be a part of this community. It's such a family oriented community, so that was just something really big for me. Wanting to come back is to just be somewhere where my little girls could be in the bleachers and after games, seeing the girls, and that's the highlight of my 3-year old's day is getting to see the volleyball girls. So it's definitely awesome to be back in the community and where me and my husband grown up in, and I love it. I love it here, so I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
And coach, it just seems like the Toloso Midway community is I mean, to have you, they're lucky, right? To have someone that played and is back, and
Hmm.
you've had success, and we'll talk about that success because I look at the season last year, 3 rounds in the
Hmm.
playoffs, and we'll get your thoughts
Hmm.
on that. But just to have you back there and you being able to lead that program, and it's an exciting time for you and your family, but also for the community and the school district that they
Hmm.
have one of their own leading their program, a very
Hmm.
successful program, I should say. Coach, I heard this. I don't know if this is true, but have you already reached your 100th victory as a
I
head coach?
did this year. I was actually at a tournament. We were playing, sitting to go into the finals of their tournament, and to get that 100th win was pretty sweet. It was one my assistant coaches were a little upset that I didn't tell them I was so close to it, but I was just kind of one of those where I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want it to be like, not about me. It is a huge accomplishment on myself, but I didn't want to, like, not superstitious, but like jinx it and be like, okay, was this the win? Is this the win? What is, are we gonna, so it was pretty awesome to get to accomplish that. And I have 2 girls, a 3-year old and a 1-year old. And my daughter was in the stands at that game. So it was a pretty special moment to have, my family there, my daughter there. And to get to accomplish that is pretty cool. It's definitely a moment I won't forget in my coaching career.
Well, from here, from myself and the GT Sports Network crew, we want to congratulate you 100 early on because, like you said, as a head coach, to reach that already just speaks volumes to the work you put in as a coach to lead programs. And like I said, I'll say it again, Toloso Midway, the Cherokee program, very, very, they should be very excited, happy to have you there leading their program. I mean, it's just going to be great moving forward, and being able to talk to you and get to know more about you is something that really excites me here on the network. Coach, now let's talk about your assistants, because every program, right, that
Mhm.
is successful, and we know you've been successful early on, the assistants play such a big role. I mean, you're the head leader there. You're the person that leads them, but
Mhm.
they play such a role. Who are your assistants, and if you can tell us their responsibilities?
Yeah, so my varsity assistant is Val Kalunga. She also, grew up in the community here, as a TM grad also. So to get to have, people who are just deep rooted in our community, to get to come back and work with them and coach with them, is super awesome. She's my varsity assistant. She is my right hand person. I need something done, she's probably doing it before I even think I need it. So to get to have that kind of varsity assistant really takes the pressure off of me on all the things that I get to just focus on coaching volleyball. And she, helps me out and everything from stats and making sure, like, she's having those small little conversations with the kids on the bench, and doing a lot of the things that, especially coming from being a varsity assistant, that you don't realize as a head coach that you need that right hand person who can just, you need something and they're already getting it done. So she's my varsity assistant. Melissa Vella, and Ray Martinez. They're my 2 sub-varsity coaches. They again they're both head coach. They were both, or Melissa was a head coach at Odom for a long time, and then she came over to be just an assistant here. So to have, and Coach Martinez, he is a head soccer coach. So to have just their level of experience, it is awesome too, because they know what it takes to lead a program. So I'm a very I'm a firm believer in discipline and structure, and accountability in our program. So from them being head coaches, they know what that means. So when I say, I need these kids doing this, and here's the standard, and here's the expectation, they are definitely right on board, helping me, keep that structure, keep that discipline throughout our program. Because again, we're just really big on discipline wins games, and if we can be disciplined in the little things, it translates onto the court. So having a staff who helps me, stay on top of that, where I don't have to nitpick on the little things. Like, they're taking care of that, they're making sure the girls are where they need to be, they're doing all the little things. And I get to, again, just focus on coaching volleyball and focus on, what's needed for every different game. So they're a great staff to have. They help keep me grounded. We have lots of conversations, and they help, give advice on, who we need to be in the starting lineup each week, or who, what changes we need to make. because they see so many outside things, especially, they may not always be in the gym practicing with us, just because the way our practices are structured. So they're that outside lens looking in to kind of help me, give me a fresh set of eyes when, we're the ones who, me and Coach Kalunga are the ones who are normally in that varsity gym, seeing it on a daily. So they always come in and give us a fresh perspective too. So that's really nice to have.
Wow, awesome. And you guys have been very successful at Tuloso Midway. I've always heard that.
Mhm.
Before we reached out to you, Tuloso Midway has always had a great volleyball
Yeah.
program, and it seems like things haven't changed much there. So definitely starts with the head coach, and we got a good one here. But those assistants play such a vital role to continue to
Mhm.
be successful. Coach, I'm going to ask you now to talk about your varsity roster. If you have the names, positions that they play, but more importantly, the jersey, so fans can connect the jersey number or
Yeah.
with the name.
All right. I have a big group of girls this year. It's kind of one of my things is wanting to really just work on developing a lot of kids and having a big varsity roster. So I have 15 girls on my roster. So
Mm.
I'm going to give you their names, their number, and I'll give you their graduating year. And I was going to try and do it off the top of my head, but I'm not that good. So I don't want to leave anybody out. So starting with my seniors, we have number 1, Alexis Valdez. She plays a defensive specialist role for us. Number 4, Melanie Garcia. She's a senior setter. Number 6, Lainey Sosa, who is our senior libero. Number 9, Michaela Salinas, who is also another one of our setters, and she plays right side outside. Number 22, Brazil Jimenez, who is another one of our senior outside hitters. Number 10, Emery De Leon, who is another one of our defensive specialists. And then going on to our juniors, I have number 2, Leah Flores, who is a defensive specialist. I have number 5, Isabella Garcia, who's our 6 rotation outside hitter. Number 7, which is Iris Uribe. She's also a junior. She plays middle, right side, kind of depending on our game. Number 11, Madison Tierney, who is also a junior. She's a defensive specialist. Number 13, sophomore, Kelly Box, who's a middle right side, plays for us. And I said she's number 13. Number 14, a sophomore, Haley McLaughlin. She is an outside hitter. And then I have 3 freshmen. Number 15, Chloe Kempton, who's a middle right side hitter. Destiny Flores, number 16, who's a defensive specialist. And number 12, McKenna Barrera, who is a right side. So got a big group of kids. They're great. They all work hard. I couldn't be blessed with a better group of kids who hardworking girls.
Yeah, and 15, that's quite a bit. And like I
It
said,
is.
for all Cherokee Warrior TM fans and surrounding areas, this is a very good not because I've got coach on here, but this is a very good program who has been very, very successful. I did my little research here the last couple of days when I knew you were going to come on. And they can play some volleyball out at
Mhm.
Tuloso Midway. And anybody that's ever played against you guys know that every year they're very competitive. They went 3 rounds in the playoffs last year. So expectations are high again for this program. And now, Coach, we'll go into this year. Right now, I think I saw that you're currently 14-7
Mhm.
um, as a record. What have you seen from your team this year early on that you like, and then
Mhm.
certain things that you still think you got to work on before you get into district?
I think the biggest thing is especially having such a large roster. We have 6 seniors, so this year is really focused on just player development and growth. With having such a big graduating class this year, it was really our goal to come into the season and have um, some depth in our roster. So that way, when we lose these 6 seniors, we can come in and we, have people who are familiar with the level of play at varsity level. So I think really just them working together with, and then having so many new kids on varsity. I have 15 girls on my roster, 6 returners. So there's a lot of newness. There's a lot of, and not newness, because they're all were a part of our program, but it's definitely different coming from, I have kids who came from the freshman team last year who are on varsity this year. I have kids who were on the JV last year coming to varsity. I have obviously incoming freshmen who are used to middle school level volleyball. So there's a lot of newness. So there's really been a lot of We're trying to, work through some growing pains, definitely. They've played a lot of really high level volleyball. And I like to really jam pack our preseason with some tough games. Like, I want to take losses early on, and I want to see who we are when we're down. Because that tells us a lot of what the work we need to do going forward, and how to prepare for those tough district opponents. Because our district is so small, we have the ability to have such a jam packed, really competitive preseason. We went to 3 great tournaments that really had great level volleyball, and playing, you know, Sherryland in the finals at the Sinton tournament, and we played, some great 5A, 6A matches in the CCISD Spike Fest tournament, and then this weekend we play, you know, some different level, 4A teams. So kind of just having a mix of all the varying level, and then in our preseason too, having a Laredo United South, who's a powerhouse in 6A and different 6A, and mixing that level of that classification from playing 2A schools to 4A to 5A to 6A, to really like push us. And my big thing in preseason is I want to see who we are when we're losing, because then I know what kind of practices we need to have going forward. I need to know. It gives me an idea of who are my people that can handle those high pressure situations, and how do we get out of them. So we have the ability to kind of see that, especially early on, and that way we can kind of grow from that. So they've done really well of, trying to adapt their level of play to different levels. Obviously, when you go from playing a 1A to a 6A, there's a big gap in that level, and trying to focus on really creating consistency in our level of play has really been the big push. And I think we've been able to kind of see that in preseason. And we've had really great moments where we're playing like we're on fire. Like, this is lights out. This is what Cherokee volleyball is. This is, what the foundation in the future is. And then we have some moments where we're really down, and we're like trying to figure it out. And we talk a lot about momentum, and how momentum is like the biggest thing that you can try and grab during the middle of the game. And if you have momentum on your side, you're just coasting, and you're feeling good, and really trying to, use that depth in our bench and that depth in our program to add that energy and that excitement to help us, in moments where things are tough. We try and grab that momentum and use it to our advantage. um, and change that shift. I watch a lot of volleyball, invest in volleyball, and great programs. They talk about that, how they can just try and, the minute you have momentum on your side is the minute the game changes. And so just really trying to get the girls to grasp that and understand that at a higher level. So we've seen a lot of really great matches. We've had, our tough losses where, the girls leave and they feel like, man, we could have done so much better. We could have given more. And so, to kind of see that and get them to understand that is super awesome early on. And again, just, trying to figure out who we are when things are tough. And that way we know we can prepare. We can mentally prepare for that battle coming forth of district play when things are really serious and things are on the line.
Coach, and we're going to talk about that district here in a bit, and get your thoughts on that small district and each team and what you know from them, and stuff. But before we do that, Coach, I do want to get into the other level. So there is a freshman JV level middle school, and like I say, as Coach comes on every Wednesday, we're going to get her thoughts on how the other levels of volleyball there at TM are doing. So can you talk to us a little bit about your freshman and JV? What's been going on? How are they doing this early season?
Yeah, we're kind of going through the same thing. So one of the big shifts I went to this year was, we went from having a true freshman, to having a JV maroon and JV gold. A lot of the schools in this area have kind of branched out into that to give, us as coaches the flexibility to kind of move players within and without. So I think they're just trying to get used to that, and they're doing great at what they're doing. One of the big things in our program that I'm really, really passionate about and really huge on, because I know how sometimes sub-varsity teams can feel like the redheaded stepchild, like off in their island alone. It's all about the varsity, because the varsity is the only thing that matters. So Wednesday we have an entire program practice where everybody across the board, we all practice together. So whether we're doing, intermixing, this past week, we did, a big 6-on-6 tournament where, it was just random. At random, your team is chosen. I said, okay, you three here, you three here, you three here, and they make a team of 6 or 7. And so just really getting to mix that level. So you have varsity kids playing with, freshmen and JV, and really, so that way they're understanding, like, here's the varsity level. And, I'm really big on, we're only as good in our program as the weakest person in our program. And if, the best person in our program can't make the weakest person in our program better, then we need to do a better job. So really investing into the entire program on those Wednesdays and taking time to, do skill work. So all the setters are working together, all the defensive specialists are working together, all the hitters are working together, and really just building their fundamental and skills and taking time away from just the traditional, like, okay, varsity, you're in this gym, you only go in this gym, JV, JV, you guys are here. Is to really to kind of coming in and, getting everybody to work together is really huge. And I think that helps raise the level throughout our entire program, where they go and they see opponents and they're like, oh, I'm used to this because, I have Bella Garcia hitting at me all the time on Wednesdays in practice. And that's just, it's normal. And so getting to do that is something that has been a really big shift of mine as I went into being a head coach, is really investing into the sub varsities and trying to get them to understand, like, you are a part of our program also. Yes, varsity has higher stakes because, that's where, you go on to postseason, you have that, but you at your sub varsity level, you're the future. You guys are laying the foundation. You're the building blocks. And if we're not all at that same level and we don't have that same understanding, then our program, caps out, and it's only, gonna go so far. So really trying to get depth and, intermixing kids and having different groups, and we, doing a lot of different things in that sense, to getting everybody in our gym working together and breaking people out of their comfort zone. I think that really lends to the success sometimes of our sub varsity teams, where they're able to go and be successful because, they're working with varsity players on the weekly. We warm up all together. We do competitive drills all together to start practice. So they're seeing that level, and they're getting to, understand what it takes to be in that per se varsity gym also.
That's awesome, Coach. It's so awesome to hear you say that and putting that thing together. And I think that's going to help out the future, because you're right, they are the future, right? And so
Hmm.
you want them to
Hmm.
continue to get better. And I think what you're doing there with this on Wednesdays is really, really good. Bringing down varsity, everybody
Hmm.
practices together. We're all one team. I think it's great. Never heard anybody say they do something like that. So
Hmm.
it's good to hear that that's something that we're doing there at Tuloso Midway. And again, we're going to get Coach's thoughts here on the district here in just a bit, but I do want to remind all Warrior Cherokee fans and surrounding areas that this podcast, you can see it on all of our GT Sports Network social media platforms. That's GT Sports YouTube channel. It's GT Sports Facebook and Twitter. And you can also hear the version, this podcast and future podcasts on Spotify as well. Just search Premier Sports Talk, look for the GT Sports logo, and look for this podcast, and you can hear what Coach is saying here about her program. Now let's go into the district, Coach, and it is a small district. I don't know much about these teams. So TM has Robstown, Zapata, Calallen, and I don't know much about Harmony School of Excellence. So I'm going to ask you, and then there's Kingsville as well. So 4 teams do go to the playoffs. I'm
Hmm.
expecting that TM is going to be one of them, if not at the very top. But Coach, what do you know about these teams, if anything, and how tough is this district for our Cherokee volleyball team?
Yeah, I think it's a good mix of levels. I think the biggest thing is, when you have programs that are deep rooted in success, like ourselves in Calallen, well, sometimes we go into matches with, I wouldn't say a chip on our shoulder, but with the expectation that we're going to win no matter what. And what the teams in our district really have to offer is, most of them, they're not at our level. We have girls that play volleyball outside of our season. They invest a lot of time into it. So with that comes that expectation of, oh, I'm just better, I'm expected to win. And so you have teams like, Zapata and Laredo Harmony, Robstown and Kingsville. They come hungry. They come out wanting to beat you, and they play really scrappy volleyball, where sometimes you find yourself frustrated in matches because you feel like, God, I can't terminate the ball because they're just everywhere. They have that, like, all out, never quit mentality. Like, we're just going to play to get the ball over the net. And sometimes that's really hard when you're really used to, structured, more organized play. So schools like that, they bring us they humble us a little bit because they push us, and sometimes where we feel like, man, we shouldn't be losing to this team because our standard and expectation, is obviously, here we've set the bar. So schools like that, they definitely come out really, really hungry, and they push us. or sometimes we're finding ourselves because we play complacent and we're just, coasting, that we're dropping sets to teams where we per se should, by paper, be the one winning in, 3 sets. So, and then you obviously have the rivalry between us and Calallen. The past 2 years, they've been district champs. So, this year my girls are really hungry. You're really wanting to chase that title of, getting that back. Like, we want to be the district champs. So it's just always a tough match between us. There's a lot of competition. There's, a lot of extra stuff that comes into, when you play Calallen, and especially that, that TM Calallen rivalry in any sport in this area is the game to be at, the game to watch. And, the environment is just insane, and it's always a fun match. So we're definitely looking forward to that this year, and, getting to see, who's going to come out and be on top. And, that's a lot of our talk is like, hey, if we want to be that, we've got to invest in the time. We've got to be people of action. We've got to put in the work to get there. And so we're excited for it. District, it's a short district with, only having 6 teams. So that's why it's nice to have this preseason with really tough competition. So we see who we are early on, and we try and figure out, what we need to do to come out on top.
I love it, Coach. I love it. Can't wait for the team, Calallen. When you're a
Yep.
fan, you love it. This is what you
Yeah.
wait for. And us podcasters, that's all we talk about. We talk about,
Yeah.
we're talking about 7 weeks down the road, but we start talking about it now.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
is a rivalry between Toloso Midway and Calallen when it comes to volleyball. And Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all play twice a year, correct?
We do.
Ooh, so you
We
get
play
it.
twice. So yeah, we open up at home this year with them October 4th, and then we'll turn around and we play at their place. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. It always is when we play Cal Allen.
Well, here on GT Sports now, for the first time, we're going to definitely pump it up. We're going to be looking at when it comes in.
Yeah.
We got a Facebook Coach GT Sports V poll that we're going to put up there so people can come in and vote. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be looking for all of the games, but specifically that Toloso Midway Calallen. It's going to be a good one. So again, and for all the people that are watching this podcast, one thing we're going to focus on a lot as we move forward. This is just the first one, so I didn't want to bomb Coach with all of these questions, but as we move forward every Wednesday, we're definitely going to be putting more emphasis and talking more about the players with Coach, getting to know the players. We're going to recap games. So stats that Coach sends me, definitely want to be able to mention the players. So we're going to focus a lot on her players and stats and stuff with Coach as we move forward on the podcast. It's something I wanted to put out there, Coach Chapa. But let's continue to move on now. And those seniors you were talking about, they play such a vital role right in the season. And you got a few of them here. Talk about your seniors. And what your expectation is for them, and what is their role, their leadership role moving forward this season?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great group of seniors, 4 of which returned this year, so they're used to that standard and expectation. Melanie Garcia is, our setter, and she, she's played behind really great setters, so it's really fun this year to get to see it kind of be her year. Like, it's her senior year. She did a great job setting with Maddie Hinojosa last year, but kind of every year has been, Melanie, her and somebody else, like kind of sharing that, somebody right there with her. So to get to see her and kind of, she's a TM kid from start to finish, to get to see her senior year and really give the opportunity to run our offense and to distribute the ball. And she has these really great hitters. So to get to see her lead in that sense is awesome. Lainey Sosa last year, she's returning as our libero. She was the libero of the district. So again, these kids just have great leadership qualities. They've, been with me for, this is their 3rd year. So they understand my standards and expectations. Michaela Salinas, this will be her 2nd year on varsity, and she's in a new role completely. So her sub-varsity year, she was a setter. She came into the team last year as a right side, a hitter for us, and then this year she's also setting with Melanie. So for her, it's just really awesome that she leads an example of, play where you're needed, and whatever coach needs, she's the kid to get it done and to say, hey, you need me as a setter this year? I'm going to do it, coach, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And so she's in a really pivotal role too, helping us with running a 6-2 offense, is having the ability to get more hitters in our offense. So really sharing the load with Melanie, so that way we can have more offensive options on the court. And then our other seniors, Alexis Valdez, Brazil Jimenez, and Emery De Leon, they're great kids. They invest into the program. They work hard, and they may lead on a quieter level, but they know the standards and expectations, and they know what's required of them, and really, they're leaving a great legacy for these younger kids and really getting to invest. And I have a lot of juniors, I have sophomores and freshmen, so those younger girls is really trying to get them to come on board. So I'm excited for this group of kids. They were really young when I was in at TM, previously. So to get to have them their last 3 years is a really, neat opportunity to get to, have them, see them, be a part of what they're the foundation that they're laying. And they've gone through, I'm their second coach in their high school career. So definitely trying to, the shift in that's a tough, you know, it's a tough task to have one coach your freshman year to going to a completely different coaching style in the next year. So they've done a really good job of adapting to, what I have to bring, and um, really showing and leading by example. So I have a great senior class. They've worked really hard. Um, and yeah, I'm excited for them. Sad to see
Talking
them go. I've known some of these kids since they were itty bitty. So it's going to be a tough year this year to see them, graduate, but I know they're going to do great things.
They are. They are. It seems like it's in good hands here. And we're talking TM volleyball, Lady Cherokees with head coach Shelby Chapa, and she's going to come on every Wednesday. It'll be pre-recorded early afternoon, but we will have it on the GT Sports social media platforms either late Wednesday night or early Thursday. So, Coach, thank you very much for spending some time. Episode number 1 was great. Didn't want to bombard you with a lot of questions, but next week we'll get more in depth with more of the players, and we're going to be recapping some of the games. So they play 2 games. She comes on every Wednesday, so there's tournaments or there's games as we move on Friday and then on Tuesday. So we will be getting coaches' thoughts on that recap, and then previewing upcoming games that are coming up for the next week, and then definitely we'll be focusing a lot on her players and stats. So we'll be getting all that next week and the following weeks throughout the volleyball season. Coach, I just want to thank you. It was great talking to you. I heard some great things about you. And once again, congratulations. Get the 100th win. We're going to work on 200 now. And Coach, I got
Yeah.
to say, the way you're going now and as many games as you win, it shouldn't take long before you hit that 200 mark. That'd be great. And hopefully it'll be
Yeah, it would
there
be.
with your alma mater there with Toloso Midway. But just
Absolutely. Yeah.
really happy to have you on and looking forward to every Wednesday throughout the volleyball to really focus on one of our better teams, one of our better programs here in the Coastal Bend and the Toloso Midway Lady Cherokee. So I'm just really happy to be a part of that and be able to talk volleyball with Coach Chapa. Coach, I'll give you the final thought. Anything you want to add before we let you go?
No, I mean, I live, eat, sleep, breathe volleyball. So I'm so excited for this. I love the program and where I'm at, and it's a super neat opportunity. So I'm really thankful for it, and I'm excited for what the rest of the season has to bring. And I'm excited to highlight these kids and all the work that they put in. I lead them, but they come in and they do all the work. So I can't wait to brag on them and all their great accomplishments, and see what the season has to bring us.
And I had talked to Coach Buriel, and we do other schools too, not just Tulsa Midway. But one of the things that we do is there's so much talent here, Coach. And I just
Hmm.
thought a couple
Hmm.
of years ago to put a podcast together. I said, there's just not enough. There's so many coaches that do great jobs, so many players that don't get recognized. We're just a very small part
Hmm.
of being able to do this once a week, but bringing some light to the community surrounding areas and mentioning some of the coaches and the programs and what coaches are doing, but really bringing the names of the players out and letting them know,
Hmm.
and then giving the players that want to come on an opportunity. So we're definitely in the next couple of weeks going to work with Coach Chapa about some of her players. Some are shy, may not come, but we definitely want to
Yeah.
invite some of them. So Coach will set that up to see how we do, but hopefully we will have some players come on if it's either with her here on her show or separately, whatever Coach wants to do, but get some of the players to talk about the work that they put in and talk about the program would be nice. So definitely be looking out as we talk more volleyball there at Toloso Midway with Coach Chapa. Coach, thank you very much. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.